I'm a little bit mucky because, I've had like all night with Arch, all afternoon night with Arch, and I've just sat on and realised, oh, okay, you can tell. So good evening, hello you. I hope you're all right with me. This is the live I was supposed to do yesterday, but I got caught up at a prom dress fitting. Who knew proms were a thing in the UK? And it's like, actually, it's a huge, huge thing. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. But I had a wonderful time with my cousin Freya, and we picked the most beautiful dress. So all is good. So tonight, I'll talk a little bit about strategy stuff, but I wanted to share something a little bit more personal with you, I guess. Something that has given me, hey Keely, has given me the reason to do what it is that I'm doing. If you've missed the last couple of lives, you can just scroll down my profile and kind of catch up with what I've been talking about, I guess. But I've been nervous about this. And I always get nervous when I say like the reasons behind things, because it's never just like, oh, I'm going to do this. It's going to be that, I want to do this for these reasons. And so I thought I'd share a couple of those reasons with you. But if there's one thing that I know, it's that most like powerful businesses, the ones that really last, the legacy ones that truly make an impact, they're built on something deeper than just money. So tonight I wanted to tell you about that, really, the reason behind the new brand business direction. If you haven't seen it, you can either type waitlist into the comments right now and you'll get a message from me and you'll be able to see the name of the new brand, but I will talk about it in just a second anyway. But a few of you have already seen it, and there's quite a lot of you already on the VIP waitlist, and the messages I've got have been absolutely lush. You get the meaning behind it and you get why. So I wanted to just go a little bit more into that tonight and then explain to you what you'll get as a VIP as well. So the new brand, like drum roll, is called Iconic. And the funny thing is that when I come up with this name and the thinking behind it, I didn't realize that it had my sister's name in it, Iconic. And it was only when I told my brother, I sent him this big brief explaining like what I wanted to do. And he thought I would think I would be crazy to rebrand something that I've built that's like so well known and so popular. And I thought, oh, he's going to be like, are you crazy? Why would you mess with something that works, that everyone knows about? But it just felt right. And then when he sent me the branding back, which if you type waitlist into the comments, you'll see it slide onto your screen. You'll notice that the last 3 letters are Nick and they're in italic. And he sent it me back, and that was the first time I actually realized that Nick's name was in it. But the thinking behind calling it that was very much like a lot to do with my sis, because if you've been following me for a while, you see I build businesses, I help people build businesses right from the beginning through to 6 figures, multiple 6 figures, 7-figure businesses, help thousands of business owners do that. But what you might not know if you're new, or you might know if you've been around a while, if you knew Nick, type Nick, N-I-C, Nick in the comments. I'd love to know who knew her and who didn't, actually. Yeah, so what you might not know is the last 4 years I've been carrying around a lot of grief, and I don't think it's going anywhere soon, but I've definitely learned to like welcome grief in like a really good friend. I read a poem, it explained it like that, and I thought that's what I need to do, because you cannot get over this, you cannot, it's never going to go. So, without getting emotional, oh no, hold on, because the next thing I was going to say is a little bit emotional. Hang on. Poured a glass of wine for this one. So Nick is one of, I hate it when you hear your voice shaking. You're like, oh, how can I get this back? She's one of the most incredible, inspiring people I've ever known. She was super strong, super resilient. Nothing like kept her down in life. There was always like, there's got to be a solution for this. There's got to be a way to fix this. And of course, we know that's not true for everything. But being around someone with that kind of attitude, my gosh. She always said how lucky we were. She's like, everything we touch turns to gold. everything we touch. That's the attitude that Nick had in life, and it definitely rubbed off on me. She lifted people up. She made people feel better just by simply being around her. I said that slow because I don't want to cry. But she did. And when I was creating this next phase of like life and business for me, because lots of things have changed, you know, with our little Archie and everything we're kind of doing with him. And Will's being nearly 11, like that's kind of wild. But, you know, life changes, doesn't it? And you've got to kind of go with the flow. And it sometimes makes you think about, hang on a minute, what do I want this to really look like? And so, you know, the business that I've built is amazing. But this is like more special. This is more really about legacy. And I wanted to carry on Nicola's legacy. So I named it Iconic because Nick was my icon. And now every single thing I build under the brand is just in honor of her. But it's about creating something that lasts, not just me keeping it going, but the people that I teach, what they're able to implement as a result, they'll be able to build businesses for years and years. And so this will be passed on and passed on. And that's because I changed what it is that I'm teaching and how I'm teaching. So I'll share a little bit of that with you. But I just want to share first a conversation I had with my son in the car tonight. So my 11-year-old Wills, I was in the car tonight. My mum was sat in the back. We picked him up from school. And I was talking to him about, he was like, what are you doing tonight, Mum? I was like, I've just got a live, that's all, mate, when you come back, when you're in the bath after football. And he was like, what are you doing your live on? And I said, well, I'm sharing about the new name of my new business. And he was like, what's that? And I said, it's Iconic. And he said, oh, right. And I explained that it's got Nick's name in and it's, you know, important. I explained what I'm going to be teaching in the first part of the brand, which is the Iconic Growth Academy. And he said, and I explained to him, like, icons, Wills, don't necessarily have to be famous people or people who are super successful. Your icons in life, I said, for me, it's like Nick, Mum, Dad. I'm like, they're literally my icons. And I said, you might feel the same about your icons. And I said, but Iconic. And he said, Mum, you can stop. I get it. Like, really, I was like, I'm going to be so rude. And he said, no, Mum, I get it. He said, icons are like my footballers that I love, like, oh, I'm rubbish at the names, like Messi, Ronaldo, Haaland. He's like, that's what icons are, Mum. But Iconic is the way they play, what they do on the field, the goals they score. And he really got into it. And I was like, it's the action they take, Wills. It's how they do things, how they implement all the skills that they've learned. And he was like, yes, Mum. I have just been taught a lesson and actually been given some amazing messaging for my new brand, which is exactly what I was thinking, but I didn't have the words for that, by my 11-year-old son. And so I thought he explained that really well, and the difference between, you know, being an icon, but being iconic, like the action that we take, the way in which we do things. And it made me think more about the Iconic Growth Academy, which is going to be the first part of the Iconic brand. And this I have designed because of frustration. So, you know, I have my membership and I can put courses inside. And, you know, the chances are, like, people, lots of my students have taken them, they get amazing results, right? But it's not always about the knowledge. And if you already have a business where you're teaching something, like, keep this in mind, because a lot of people, or maybe you haven't even started a business because you think, well, people already know this. Like, people already got access to this. What's the point in teaching that? Because people can find that information on YouTube or the internet, wherever. And that is true. But if that were actually true and it works that way, every single person with a business idea who had started a business, we'd all be able to get to the same levels of success. Because if the value is in the knowledge, you have got knowledge at your fingertips. You can jump onto ChatGPT, you can ask it questions, it will give you the answers. You can tell it to act like a business coach, right? You can ask it, how can I make 6 figures doing this business or that business? You can even ask it, hey, ask me relevant questions to find out the perfect business for me. Like, you can ask it all of those questions. You can go on YouTube and watch videos of how to do this and how to do that, right? So if the value was in the knowledge, then everybody will be successful. But the value isn't in the knowledge, part of it, but it's not in the knowledge, because you can go to university and you can learn. In fact, who was I speaking to? I was speaking to someone in my DMs and she was saying, I did a marketing degree. Oh, no, I wasn't. I did a one-to-one. And this lovely lady who I'm helping her build a business said, I said, what did you do before the business? And she said, I worked in marketing. I worked for really high-end brands like Procter & Gamble and Weller, and like really high-end brands. And I said, and so what is your struggle with your business? She's like, marketing. And I said, isn't that interesting that you would prefer to learn from somebody who's actually doing the do, who has implemented the strategies and got the results, and they're doing it every day. They're in the trenches with you. They know what works right now and what doesn't, rather than, go on what you were doing with Procter & Gamble or Weller. Like, it doesn't always work in the same place, right? And you can have the knowledge, but it's the action that you take will actually get you the progress and the results. So the value isn't in the knowledge, it's in the how and it's in the who. So it's, how you're going to implement these strategies, how you're going to be held accountable, how you're going to develop systems in order to keep these strategies running day in, day out in your business, bringing in the results. And it's the who, like, who is it that you learn from? Who has done it before you that can show you in the right way, the how, right, in the way that they teach you, like show you exactly step by step. And who is it that can keep you accountable? And so that's what the first part of my new brand, which I'll be kind of doing throughout the year. But the first part is the Iconic Growth Academy. And this is going to be teaching you 4 core strategies. And the reason why I brought it to the forefront is because I couldn't ignore it. I was teaching these strategies separately to my students, and the results were just amazing. Like Jo Douglas, who had a business idea. She was definitely already had the skill to do the business, but she was stuck with like what content to create, how to build an audience. She didn't have an audience or an email list. Within 8 months, Jo has built an audience of 4,800 highly engaged, super ideal clients, and that meant that she sold out on her first retreat that she kind of like put out there in that way, and she didn't need to do a front end launch because she'd already built up such an audience that were just ready to buy from her. So seeing Jo do that and her telling me, I only did it because you told me to do it, and I knew I had to be accountable to you, that was like, oh, really? Like, really? That's all you needed? And then other people started saying, that's all I need, Em. That's all I need, Em. That's all I need, Em. I'm like, okay, this isn't about the knowledge, because I've always said to do the same thing. It's about how you do it, how you implement it, how you're held accountable. And like Emma Eckersley, who came to me in, I think it was October, November, at the start of my platinum program. And it's like, I'm ready to give up. 7 years she's been building a business, 7 years, and it's a really amazing business. She's called Eadie Chops, EADIE Chops on Instagram. And she makes headscarves and other items that she sews herself. All the material is organic, sustainable, and all of them like one-off pieces, and she sells that to people who are suffering with hair loss. The business started because her friend had cancer, and suddenly she lost her best friend, and some weird twist of fate, her friend knew of Nicola, and she started following Nicola, and because she followed Nicola, she then followed me. Anyway, 7 years on in building a business, she just had enough. She said, I'm fed up of like trying to create content, feeling like a performing monkey on social media. If you feel like that, comment waitlist right now. You're going to need what comes into your inbox. She said that she wasn't making sales, and it was a really hard slog, and she always felt super salesy when she was doing it, and it just didn't feel right to her. And so then when she found me and found my program, the first thing she actually did was implement my daily sales strategy. And she said from watching the training to 24 hours later, she made £300 in sales. And she was about to give up. I'm like, no, don't give up until you do what I tell you to do. So £300 in sales within 24 hours. She then did another part of that sales strategy, and she made £1,600 in 3 hours. Crazy. And then she is also, from being part of that program, from being in my world, she's actually started something which is pretty special. She started CIC. She's just got £20,000 in funding, and she's just got a collaboration with Marks and Spencer's on the go. So to think that just a few months ago, she was like, I'm done. I'm ready to hang up my scissors and just dip out. I'm done with this. It's too hard. It is hard. Online business can feel super hard until you connect the dots. And connecting the dots looks like building 4 core strategies that you need in any business. And the same strategies that I use just in a really mucky way to build my first business to $1 million. They're the same strategy I use to build my coaching business to 6 figures, to multiple 6 figures, to 7 figures. It's the same 4 core strategies. No one can tell you you need any other strategies other than these 4. Problem is, normally at the minute, you'll find one person teaches something, another person teaches something else, okay, another person teaches something else, and it's different, you know, and it's difficult because you don't know which ones you should do in what order. You don't know how one feeds into the other. And that's difficult to figure out. And so what I've done is I've put the whole system into one live program. So when you finish it, you will literally not have any reason. My mum's ringing me, and if I know my mum, she's going to keep trying to ring me. You will not have any reason for your business not to grow and be sustainable in the long term, just managing these 4 core strategies, literally. And for this, because it is super special, I'm doing the craziest VIP waitlist bonuses that I've ever done. So if I just say, like, if you want to work next to me at my desk, not here, it's going to be in my new iconic headquarters, which is being finished off right now. My champagne fridge arrived yesterday. So if you like a bit of bubbles, you might like to come and pay it a visit. And yeah, it's all getting done. It'll all be ready. And if you would like to do something like that, you want to be on the VIP waitlist. So if you comment waitlist, you'll get the link for that. This program is not going to be for everyone. First of all, it's not going to be for people who are not ready to take action. I would say, like, only do it if you are really ready to make those changes and to implement, because we will hold you accountable. It is only going to be for 200 spaces. So the whole thing is going to be 200 spaces. There are already more than 200 people on my VIP waitlist, and I've only started talking about it 2 days ago. So if you want to have like any chance of being in the only Iconic Growth Academy that I'm doing this year, I'm not going to do another one. I'm only going to do one. So if you want a chance of being part of that, then comment waitlist, get your name on that list. I'm going to email you some behind the scenes stuff, some things that are going on. I'll explain more about the Iconic Growth Academy and what I'll be teaching and what that'll look like. And I'll also tell you about the wild bonuses, like working with me in the flesh, like maybe a big in-person event. I mean, I've never actually done that as part of anything before. I've only ever done one in-person event, which was the Share the Success Mastermind, but this will be an Iconic Growth live event. But again, the numbers are less than the seats available in the program. But my VIPs will have first dibs, first chance to take a look at everything. So that's the meaning behind the brand, which I think William explained like kind of way better than me. And it's really special to myself and my brother, who's a big part of my team and my business and my life. So we are going to be like carrying the torch for our neck. And I think you'll agree, when you type waitlist and you see the kind of branding and how it all looks, you'll see that it's totally Nick's style too. Kyle's done such an amazing job. So I will see you guys tomorrow, where I just go a little deeper into what it is you'll be getting, the strategies really. I'm going to explain to you tomorrow. If you're on tomorrow and I forget, please remind me, because you know what I'm like. I've got crazy kids. It's a lot. But I really do want to share with you guys how the strategies work with each other and how they, I mean, you've heard about Joe and Emma, but how they can really change your business. But you got to take the action, right? You've got to take iconic action. You've got to do the part, do the bits to get the results. So I'll share a little bit more about that tomorrow. Take care. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. I'm going to go and finish bath time. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.